These are the 4 most important episodes of Stranger Things and everything that happens in each episode so you can be prepared and have a better viewing experience for Stranger Things 5. And this recommendation is coming from the creators of Stranger Things, the Duffer Brothers themselves. So you know these are important. And y'all know me, if they give me a little bit of crumbs, I might just give you guys a 5-star meal. But either way, me and you know what we gotta do. We gotta talk about it. And all of this comes to us exclusively from The Hollywood Reporter, who was able to interview the Duffer Brothers, who revealed all of the most important things they want the fans to remember going into this final season. Why does it look like they're pumping my head like a basketball? Go team, go! And it's there that they revealed the 4 most important episodes. And funny enough, it comes from season 2 and season 4. And those episodes are season 2 episode 4, Will the Wise, season 2 episode 6, The Spy, season 4 episode 7, The Massacre at Hawkins Lab, and finally the season finale of season 4, The Piggyback. The Duffer Brothers specifically called out season 2 as the starting point for when they really started to build out the mythology of the series. And season 4 is important for not only the lore of the Upside Down, but Hawkins Lab, Eleven, Will, and Vecna's connection. And thanks to the Duffer Brothers themselves, again, they revealed that we're going to find out everything about the Upside Down, the lore of how it works, why it is the way it is, etc. in Stranger Things 5. But let's go ahead and start off with season 2 episode 4, or chapter 4, Will the Wise. And this episode picks up immediately from the cliffhanger of episode 3, where Will, who still has a weird connection to the Mind Flayer and the Upside Down, gets flayed by the Mind Flayer. All because Bob told him to stand up to him and say, "Go away, go away!"
Nice parenting.
Hey, thanks. Are you my therapist? Take a walk.
And throughout the entirety of this episode, we see Will struggling with this half connection to the Upside Down being flayed. He starts remembering things that he never had in his own mind. His body temperature gets really low. You remember, he likes it cold, which is a sign that he's still under control of the Mind Flayer. He begins to start drawing these weird tunnels on a bunch of papers like a conveyor belt to try to communicate what's going through his mind and what he's seeing. Which, thanks to Joyce, Scooby doing this shit, she lays out these drawings in the house and it's a perfect map of Hawkins. So these are underground tunnels that feed through different areas of Hawkins that seemingly all connect to Hawkins Lab yet again. So this was kind of like our Christmas lights for season 2. And it's here where Jim Hopper finds the tunnels by digging in a pumpkin patch. And speaking of Hopper, his relationship with Eleven starts to get a little strained. As she's tired of being cooped up in his cabin and he's just trying to be a protective father by keeping her safe, she lashes out and compares him to Papa. You know, the "you are like Papa." But don't worry, everything ends up being okay in the end, so long as she keeps leaving the door open 3 inches. But this leads to Eleven trying to figure out who her real mother was. Her mother, Terry Ives, is actually in a vegetative state thanks to Hawkins Lab. And we find out they left her like this because she was a part of their MK Ultra experiments, which she was subjugated to while she was pregnant with Eleven. Which also tells us why Papa and Hawkins Lab view Eleven as so important, because she's probably naturally born with these psychokinetic powers. Oh yeah, and we also find out that Dustin's little pollywog that he found is actually a demodog that Will threw up. Which takes us to season 2, episode 6, The Spy. Now in the episode before, Will begins seizing because Hawkins starts burning down the vines in the tunnels that Jim Hopper found. Where he's taken to Hawkins Lab where they run some experiments to try to figure out why he's having these seizures. They bring in a piece of one of the vines or one of the monsters, burn it, and realize that Will feels the same pain that it feels. Meaning that he's a part of the Mind Flayer's hive mind of all the creatures in the Upside Down. And Will slowly starts becoming less of himself because his link to the Mind Flayer becomes stronger. And this is also where Hawkins discovers a giant fucking portal to the Upside Down in the basement. This is also where we get the show's best dynamic duo in Dustin Henderson and Steve Harrington. Shout out babysitter and mom Steve, he's a GOAT. Just had to mention it. And the season ends with Eleven, who just went through her Jedi training arc with her sister 008, who's most likely going to appear in Stranger Things 5, closing the gate and seemingly ending the fight against the Mind Flayer. Because without the gate being slightly open, he has nowhere to roam in the right side up. Which takes us and fast forwards us all the way to season 4, episode 7, The Massacre at Hawkins Lab. In this episode, we not only learn the backstory of Vecna, the main villain of Stranger Things, learning that he didn't originate in the Upside Down. He was actually a young human child named Henry Creel, who, similar to Will, felt like an outsider and began to resent humanity as a child and even his own family. And it's here that we learn that he actually had psychokinetic powers already, which he used to kill his own mother and torture his dad and sister, where he eventually became Dr. Brenner's original experiment, 001, which leads us to Eleven having flashbacks of that massacre in Hawkins Lab and her believing that she was the one who killed all of these poor kids and all of these people. But we learn that 001, Henry Creel / Vecna, started to become very close to Eleven, seeing her almost as an equal in power, because they're both naturally born with these psychokinetic abilities. But it's revealed that he's actually the one who killed all of the other test experiments, all the people in the lab, because he despises humanity, and he gives a pretty solid villain monologue, and I'm like, I'm not gonna lie, he was kind of cooking.
Each life, a faded, lesser copy of the one before. Wake up, eat, work, sleep, reproduce, and die.
But it's there that Eleven uses her powers to banish him, just pulls him against this wall. As he's seemingly disintegrated into a portal to the Upside Down, we see that Eleven actually sends sent him to the Upside Down, not without some scars, where Henry, Agent 001, comes into contact with the Mind Flayer, as we see him reach out his hand using his powers to, I believe, talk to it or try to come to some type of agreement. Also, does this shot look familiar? And the life cycle of going from Henry Creel to 001 to Vecna is now complete. He is the monster that everyone thinks 11 is, which is the exact kind of main villain that you want. Compelling, interesting, and misunderstood, and I bet we're going to learn a lot more about him in Season 5. And also, what the real connection between the Mind Flayer and Vecna truly is. Has Vecna been flayed this entire time, or are they working in more of a partnership? Did he help him create the Upside Down into what it is? Why is the Upside Down version of Hawkins stuck in 1983, the night that Will was taken? This leads us to Season 4, Episode 9, the finale, The Piggyback, which I'm sure most of you probably know by now. We'll get the iconic Master of Puppets needle drop with Eddie Munson sacrificing himself, which I think is going to have huge ramifications for Dustin in Season 5 and where his character arc ends up going. As we see, he really loved Eddie and even told his uncle that he was a real hero. 11 and Vecna fight in Vecna's Mindscape dimension, where thanks to the power of friendship and love, she does her little and seemingly holds him at bay in his own mind. Wow, not only does this Demogorgon find out why you don't mess around with Big Jim Hopper, but our top trio in Nancy, Robin, and Steve burn Vecna in the Upside Down at his childhood home, House Creel, as Nancy turns into Sarah Connor and pumps off some shots of a shotgun, where he's seemingly defeated. But when they go outside, he pulled a Michael Myers and he disappeared. Max, who was still being haunted by Vecna, breaks a couple of bones, as Lucas says, "No, stay with me, stay with me. Erica, help!" The "when it's cold outside, I want to die" needle drop gets me every time, as she ends the season seemingly in a coma, which 11 confirms by trying to go into her mind, and it's just blank darkness. For a couple of beautiful reunions between 11 and Jim Hopper, as well as everyone else sharing a nice wholesome moment, Will begins getting that little spider sense something's coming. As we start seeing little flakes of the Upside Down dropping into Hawkins, we're left on this ominous shot of what looks like the Upside Down merging with the right side up, as 11 just looks on like, all right, I know what I gotta do. And this is gonna lead us straight into Season 5 of Stranger Things, where we know they're actively pursuing Vecna, trying to find him and bringing the fight to him. To use Dusty Bun's words, I want Vecna's heart on a silver platter. So according to the Duffer Brothers, those are the 4 most important episodes, everything that happens in them, so you can have a better viewing experience for Stranger Things 5. The first 4 episodes of Stranger Things 5 releases Wednesday, November 26th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I hope you have a great, traumatizing, heartfelt, sad, and overall beautifully poignant viewing experience for Stranger Things 5. This is the last season, so let's hope it's the best season. And if no one told you this, I love you, you matter. Make sure you tell someone you love them today, because friends don't lie.